Hey, Lord of the Rings fans, it's your boy New Better Do Better here, and I have my wonderful co-host with me, as always, Callie Cosplay. What's up, Callie?
Hi, everyone. Welcome back for another little interview episode with our members of Voices of Arda.
Yes, so guys, we have not only a podcast called Voices of Arda, but we have an amalgamation of Lord of the Rings content creators and super fans that make up the brunt of this whole thing. What would you call it, Callie? What would you call what we call Voices of Arda, our group?
I mean, I guess I call it a community, but
Fellowship.
A
a
felt
fellowship. That is, yeah, there we go. Yeah,
This is why we
Kelly's
bring
got
in
the
the big
words.
brains. We bring in the
Yeah.
big brains. And speaking of big brains, we're going to introduce our big brain today. Kelly, what's going on?
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
Hi guys, it's so good to see you. I love Voices of Arda and I love that everything that you guys do. Um, I'm Kelly. I go by the middle page on social media and Instagram, Substack, all that.
I'm
And
gonna I'm gonna ask you to please spell that for the people who are
oh,
listening.
the middle page. It's just one word. So Themiddlepage. Or E,
This,
sorry.
this is also a test of your literacy and your spelling ability.
I
Callie
know
likes
on
to
the
throw in
spot,
there. You know what I mean?
can't
Making
do
sure
it.
everyone's awake.
Some Aquila and the B shit going on right now. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so there
So,
you have it, the middle page. Kelly, what would you say your Tolkien account is about, or like, what do you kind of like to focus on?
I really like to focus on, well, right now I'm doing a lot of Tolkien's non-Middle Earth texts. But in general, I like to focus on the books, the collection that I have, these sort of, I guess, academic, but I don't want to sound snooty or anything, but these sort of like really like deep diving into to what people have said and written about and thought. And I really want to like, kind of make that more accessible and make it more known that people do look at Tolkien's works seriously. And it's very worth looking at, whether you're rereading as a fan multiple times over, or diving in and thinking about these concepts more deeply. Whatever like level that you want to look at Tolkien's works, is wonderful. And there's many people who are doing it. And so I myself like to do this. And so right now, for my big like project that I'm doing for the year of Tolkien, I'm looking at specifically his non-Middle Earth texts, which don't get a lot of attention, or at least not as much as the Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion, which understandably so, because the Lord of the Rings is so awesome. But these works are really cool too. And I remember being like, younger and like just wanting to get all of the Tolkien books that I saw in the store, and I didn't know what the heck they were about. I didn't know.
no.
Like, I just saw Tolkien's name on it, and I was like, I'm gonna get it. And so, so I'm trying to kind of, again, just kind of bridge that gap in between people who really love everything that Tolkien did in his lifetime, but don't really know where to start. Looking at On Fairy Stories, Smith of Wooten Major, um, Roverandom, all of those kind of smaller texts. Right now, we're doing Adventures of Tom Bombadil, and we're about to do Beowulf, which is really fun. So no, Bombadil's awesome.
If Bombadil ever gets brought up,
And
you know
it's,
what New Better's going to do.
He
You
has to
know.
do that. He
I
has to
would
do
change
that
your mind.
reaction.
One day I'm going to change your mind just a little bit.
Never happened. I hate him. I hate him.
Because we're
Uh,
gonna be hearing a
uh,
lot more about Tom with some movies that are gonna be coming up, I think. So
yeah.
you're gonna have to strap in
Yeah.
for this
This
new
is
beta.
all fake hate, guys. I love Tom Bombadil. Love
Love
Yeah,
to
so
Tom.
hate
it's
him.
it's been really fun doing that. He is fun to hate because like honestly, I stand by, I think I've said this before, where if you met Tom in real life, he would be so annoying.
I think
Like
I would
So
be
he's
very
annoying.
singing
annoyed by him. Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Oh,
No
oh.
way.
It's no
I,
way, bro.
no way. I'd be so annoyed. Get out of my face.
It's like stay in one place and tell me the story, bitch.
You know, you ever seen Tropic Thunder where he's explaining Blu-ray and he's explaining like what is it, Blu-ray and PlayStation or whatever. And then Robert uh Robert Downey Jr. goes, "You talking to me this whole time?" That's how I feel like Tom. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, you talking to Stop talking to me, man. Like,
And like also like you're still talking. Like
like, what is
Yeah.
going on?
Oh.
Yo, that's funny. I see not to get off topic, but I see you have now you have your academic prowess, which is phenomenal. But I also see you have a fun side because I see Barador in the background. And
um I do have Barter. And I'm too
that
Oh.
scared to like tilt my screen to
It's
show the whole thing, but
building it, how was that?
I built some of it. I
She
had people
cheated.
help me.
She cheated.
it was a team
Call
pro.
me out.
He didn't build the
I
tower by himself. He had help.
Build it
he
alone.
had help. It was really fun. I don't have a lot of Lego experience to be honest. But I was sent I amazingly was sent this. And my partner really loves Legos and my friends really love Legos. So in true Hobbit fashion, I had people over and we would like watch the movies and then we would like put the Lego set together. And I did some of it. Um, but but now I have it, and it's a reminder of my fellowship and my friendship, and also that I'm always being watched.
All right. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah,
That's
no, those
awesome.
sets are really cool. I don't have a lot of space or I probably have the time for it at this point, but the space for them and then
Yeah,
the little finger dexterity. That's
yeah,
dedication. Yeah,
and
there's a
all
lot of
the
pieces.
little lots of pieces, and there's lots of like little hidden things. So like if you like open up
Oh,
behind it, like it's the barrier is like half, so the other half of it that's not shown, it's against the wall. But there's a lot of like the orcs are inside, and there's like a little like menu, so it's like a little nod to like meat's back on the menu. Um,
oh my
so
gosh.
there's some fun things inside. There's like, oh gosh, I think like a little thing that comes out that like is like a little like watchtower. Like I'll have to like look at it again because it's been a while, but there's lots of really fun stuff.
That's amazing. Other proud owners of the Baradur Lego set will know what Kelly is talking
Yeah.
about. I know that the 2026 project you have going on is massive, and I want to come back to that for sure and talk more about it. Do you have anything in 2025 that you want to share? Any projects you worked on or meetups you went to? Anything that,
What did I
the
do in
California
2020?
Tolkien Society started in 2025?
Yeah, I every year is I feel like getting more and more within the community, which has been really cool. One of the coolest things that happened in 2025 is Tom Racine's book came out, and I'm pretty close to Tom. He's so cool and so supportive. And so seeing that happen to a friend that deserves it and an artist that in the world of AI is
Oh
like
yeah.
doing this stuff by hand and like drawing and writing is super cool. So I was able to celebrate that with him. I was able to have a few different meetups with like Miranda and the people who live a little bit close to me. And we did
Get on a
something in
plane.
25, right? What?
Get on a plane.
I did
It's
it. We did, right? That was last year that we
that
hung out
was
again.
just
Was
last
that last
year.
year? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get on a plane again for you guys because I miss you guys. But
Okay.
yeah, every time we hang out, I'm just like, I adore all of you. And it's so cool.
No,
So
we have a great
It
time.
sounds
And you're,
like we need to go down there because
uh,
there seems to be a concentration of you guys
yeah,
all in
this
that
got Southern California.
mhm.
area-ish.
I've had the pleasure of going there a few times and meeting up with you guys and hanging out. It's usually
What?
during San Diego Comic-Con, and it
Oh
is
yeah.
Mhm.
beyond
Mhm.
fun. Like and karaoke, Dave
Yeah.
Donaldo
Oh,
brings us to karaoke out there. It is like a pleasure. Like it is so fun. It's amazing. So hanging out with you guys and just sharing knowledge and just bopping and arguing about the silliest things.
mhm.
It's so fun. I have a great time with you
Comic
guys.
Comic-Con's wild because you're running on fumes. And
Whew.
the only time to like, because like the convention itself, like you spend all, 8, 9 hours, whatever, doing things, talking to people, networking and that sort of thing. And then to actually hang out, you like stay up all night
Yeah,
and then you
yeah.
like, do it again the next day.
Do
So
it
it's a
again.
wild time. You
Yeah,
get you
beautiful.
get like the rawest version of people who they're just like, I'm so tired, but
Oh
like
man.
let's
But
drink
I'm
another
happy to
beer and
be
hang
here.
out. Yeah.
So I'm gonna meteorite into the middle of this into the interview, and I'm gonna ask you a question. Now we're gonna ask each and every member of Voices of Arda. Now, I want you to think real hard, and I want you to think about Voices of Arda and its name and the themes that the Ainur sung into existence, the world. So if you were an Ainur, what would you sing into existence and put into the theme?
I think I would be very in tune with like nature and pacific pacificity. Is that
I
is that how you
think
pronounce that?
you it sounds correct. It sounds
I
like you would know more than me.
but it's funny because I think I like even just reading Tolkien was it formulated why that's my answer. Um, it feels so like full circle. But I think being how much daily I try to do for the earth and the animals
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
no, you're
human,
right.
like
Yeah. Big environmental conscious. Yeah.
I hope so. I try to. And you know,
Maybe you'd
ha
sing a being into existence
I
that
think I
preserved all those things,
I
like
think
Tom
so.
Bombadil,
Yeah, exactly. See, that's why Tommy's good in
Tommy
my book.
B. Tommy's your guy.
Tommy good, Tommy Bomby. But I think so. I think like nature and animals, and
Mm.
I think that's a big. Ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be vegetarian. I knew it. Like, I cared about the earth. Like, I want to try to do what I can to. You've seen Fern Gully, right?
Of- Have I
Like
seen
watching
Fern?
Fern
I'm a
Gully,
child of the 80s. Of course
right?
I've seen Fern Gully.
Seeing Fern Gully as a kid, it like completely changed. Like it made my personality. Like I was just like, I want to be a magical little fairy in a forest that like saves the trees, like
Yo,
those awful like
The
red
big
marks on
evil
the trees.
you're the tree. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
tree cutter man. Oh,
My
yeah.
gosh. And
The flying,
Hex
like the
was the
Tim Curry.
Hex was the smoke dude. Was the smoke monster
hmm
thing, right? Hex, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
they were
hmm
actually they were legitimately scary. I found them scary
Yeah,
when I watched it.
Yeah.
yeah,
And those
Hmm.
two bumbling stupid idiots with the machine driving a machine through the
yeah.
forest. Crazy, man. But yeah, that Fern Gully was
Nothing's
the truth.
changed.
Robin Williams was baddie, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah, Robin
yeah, I
Williams was
believe so.
baddie.
Tim
Yeah,
Curry was in.
yeah. Fern Gully,
Yeah,
man, listen.
yeah.
All right, all right. We're talking about lots of other medias right now, but we're here to focus on Kelly. I really want to know in the last few minutes that we have details about this huge thing you're doing this year. Like, where is it happening? You don't want to spoiler what's coming, but like, what have you done so far? Who's part of it? Like, just tell us all about it,
Let's
Kelly.
go for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is 2026 has been my year of Tolkien slow read, book club, whatever you want to call it. And we are basically looking at every month we're looking at a different text from Tolkien. And again, it's the
Okay.
texts that you may not have heard of or the ones that aren't really connected to his Middle Earth writings. So we're not diving into Lord of the Rings, Silmarillion, The Hobbit, or any of the history of the Middle Earth stuff. However, it's all kind of connected here. And, so we started off with reading on fairy stories because if you're going to approach looking at Tolkien deeply, you got to start with on fairy stories. One of the best essays, one of the best things that Tolkien has written, and I will stand by that. But it's an essay looking at the importance of fairy tales and fantasy, and it also literally shaped how he wrote Lord of the Rings because he was writing it as he was trying to write the sequel for The Hobbit and was really struggling. And writing about fairy stories really opened up his mind, and he gave himself permission to write for adults and not just writing fairy stories for children. So it is, not of the Middle Earth legendarium, but it's really important to Tolkien
It
as
was
a writer. Um,
very
Absolutely
pivotal to his
pivotal.
writing.
Yeah. And it is often quoted in anyone who reads and thinks about Tolkien. And it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. So I really recommend reading it. You'll have just like quotes from that essay in your brain, and they'll just come to you in these beautiful moments where you're just like, yeah, that was lovely, Tolkien. Thank you. Um, So we started off with that, and then going from there, we looked at Smith of Wooten Major, which is Tolkien's idea of what a fairy story should be, what a good fairy story should be. However, it's written 30 years after on fairy stories. It was really interesting to kind of see how much his lifelong dedication to fairy stories and thinking about them and thinking about fairies and elves and fairy with a capital F as a place really developed, but also stayed quite true throughout his years of being a creative writer. And Smith of Wooten is really beautiful. It's really challenging in this. It's kind of deceptive because it's a short story. There's a town that's adjacent to Fairy, and the town has kind of lost its way a little bit. It's they haven't had a lot of communication with Fairy in many years, and there's a great celebration that they do every 21 years or something like that. And in the celebration, a young boy eats the star of Fairy and is granted passage to Fairy through this star. And in a beautiful Tolkien way, the star comes to him when he is watching the sunrise, and hearing the bird song. And he hears these words of Fairy, and he opens up his mouth to sing in basically Elvish, in Fairy, a language that he did not know until that moment, until he actually felt that kind of recovery of Fairy. And the star falls out of his mouth. And with that star, he claps it. He takes the star, he claps it to his forehead, and
Hmm.
thus he is able to enter Fairy. And
Stars on
so
foreheads. Where did I hear that?
stars on foreheads. And this was written in the 60s, so you know that it was, well after Tolkien wrote the Arundel and all that. Um, but it's really beautiful. And Roland Flieger has written a lot on um, fairy and especially Smith of Wooten Major. And she says like the most important thing is not that we get descriptions of fairy, but more so that we only get those glimpses of it.
Hmm.
And because of that, it's one of Tolkien's like most difficult works to like kind of understand because you don't really get details of what he's doing. Smith goes in and out of fairy, but it's not described. It's more about his effect,
I wonder
the
where he
effect
does
that's really
that
on him.
also.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what he
Very
writes
on
about on
brand.
fairy stories, is that it really is a good fairy story is not about kind of the sugary sweet, um, over, pretty dainty little fairies. It is more about the effect of fairy and seeing just a little bit of a glimpse of that enchantment and how it can change you, even if you just see glimpses of it. So that was really, really fun looking at Tolkien's ideas of fairy. And so that was our first segment. And then we have the past 2 months have been looking at Tolkien's poetry, which again, you can't really escape fairy in his poetry. So we were looking at his early poetry in particular. And so this is really when Tolkien, he was a young man, right? He was probably like 21, 22, 23. He
Hmm.
really wanted to be a poet more than anything. He wasn't really a like creative writer in the sense of he was writing stories and novels at this time. He was writing poetry and he was really inspired by his friends who wrote poetry, and his friends really encouraged him to write poetry, and were really fans of each other, which helped shape him as a creative writer. And so at this
Yeah, that
time,
yeah.
yes,
I love
if I
that.
wrote a whole
I love
thing,
that.
it's I adore the TCBS, and I really recommend John Garth's novel Tolkien and the Great War because it talks all about these early years with Tolkien and his three very close friends, two of which would die in the war, and never get to see Tolkien's great works,
Hmm.
and experience life. And so it's really touching to read about their relationship and read about how much they all wanted to change the world through art and beauty and the written word. Um, and so I looked a lot of that, a lot of the correspondence between them, especially while they were in the war, and poetry really gave them something to like hold on to in the war. And one of his friends, G.B. Smith, wrote a lot about this, and said, you know, he said, I carry your verses about me like a treasure while he was in the trenches.
Oh,
And it's just like I can't say that I can't read it without crying.
Oh.
Really, really beautiful stuff. And so at this time, Tolkien was not only writing poetry, but he was also um, having the beginnings of his mythologies. And so you have poems like The Shores of Faery, where he is writing about Earendel and figuring out who this person is. And actually, one of his friends told him, like, hey, like he wasn't like Tolkien's biggest fan. Like he was like, Christopher Wiseman was like, you write like a lot of like, what did he didn't like love like supernatural. He's like, you write a lot of like weird stuff. But one thing he did tell Tolkien, he actually said, like, you're really weird. Um, and one thing he did tell Tolkien is like, what I want you to do is to really put this together and make it a comprehensive story. And I think that that was very instrumental into Tolkien doing that and writing, okay, who is Earendel? What's my fairy? What is my world? And so it's really interesting to kind of see these glimpses of Tolkien developing Middle Earth, but also you have poems that have nothing to do with Middle Earth, like
yeah.
Goblin Feet, which is really fun. He ended up hating that poem, but it's really fun to see that the connections of song and enchantment and all of that. Anyways, I'm babbling, but we are
No,
gonna
no, no.
look at Adventures. We're looking at Adventures of Tom Bombadil now, which is a poetry collection that came out in the late or early 60s, so much later in Tolkien's life, but actually it was the first collection of poetry that Tolkien, or what, the songs and poems? No, I think it was one of the first, but his whole early life, he really strove to get his poetry published, and poems were published here and there, and of course he put many in the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, but Adventures of Tom Bombadil are the moment where actually a poetry collection is able to come out in print. And so it's really special if you know that background to Tolkien really wanting to be a poet. And a lot of the poems come from his earlier stuff that he basically his what happened with that is his aunt wrote to him being like, I want to know more about Tom Bombadil. Cough cough, because Tom Bombadil is awesome. And and and
Thank
Tolkien
goodness
was
she did
like,
that.
it was
You know
really
what?
cool,
We
and
love Tom.
we love it. And but Tolkien was like, no, I don't want to write more about him. I want to keep him a mystery. But
Mhm.
I do have this 1934 poem that I wrote about Tom Bombadil because, of course, Tom Bombadil comes from a poem. He doesn't come to Tolkien while writing Lord of the Rings. He comes to Tolkien in a poem in the 1930s,
Mhm.
And then he wrote Tom into Lord of the Rings. Is the slight history to that. But and so he's like, you know what? Let me send you this poem, and I wonder if other people might like it. Maybe if I can get Pauline Baynes to illustrate a little book and this little poem, like that would be so cool. And his publisher agreed to it, except they said, we need more than this one poem. So so he dug up his stuff, and in true Tolkien fashion, he was really embarrassed by what he had written before. he like he's like really delighted in it, and he's still like he wrote that it like still amused him, but he lost so much confidence along the way
Hmm.
because he's just so humble. You know how he didn't really like think that he was a good artist, but like he drew amazing stuff.
Yeah,
Like
he drew amazing stuff. It was like, yo,
he's like, I just play around with watercolor. I'm like, oh my God, like you are so good at so many things. Um, so that's kind of what he kind of lost faith and really relied on the illustrations of Pauline Baynes to he was like, if she finds inspiration, I don't know how she would find inspiration from it, but if she does, then could be a book. Like he's so self-deprecating. Um, but it's a really fun collection. And I have also been working with Jordan Rennells, who does the Tolkien soundscapes. And
Jordan.
he's
Big shout out to
so cool
Jordan.
and so awesome. And
Yeah,
I love, again, in the
really nice
industry,
guy.
really nice
Mhm.
guy, is
Really
just
nice
doing
guy.
all of this
Incredible work.
Great,
Yeah.
great
incredible work.
work. Like dedication
Mind
So
is
blowing.
cool.
crazy,
Yeah.
mind-boggling.
He he just sent me so he did a soundscape specifically for what we're doing with a year of Tolkien. He did a soundscape for Smith of Wooten Major back when we looked at that.
Oh,
And then
good.
he just today sent me the files for the Adventures of Tom Bombadil. And I gave it a listen. And so for each of the poems, he does different sounds. So like with the Tom Bombadil poem, you can hear the splash of water when
Oh my
Goldberry pulls
gosh, that must
Tom
be
like into the
really,
water.
really magical, those two things together.
Yo, it
So
throws me
That's
every time when
cool.
great.
I'm doing my readings and then I'm like hearing the stuff in the background. I'm like, oh
It's
shit,
like,
this
choo.
is fire.
Yeah,
Like, oh
it's
man,
so
he caught
cool.
that.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of
hmm
myself when I'm like on pace with the thing. Like it's like
hmm
awesome. So shout out to Jordan,
Yeah.
man. Big shout out. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Huge shout out. Anything that you can do to, support him as, a music composer doing this, when so many people are just typing into ChatGPT to give prompts for music. He's doing, yeah, exactly. He's doing really fun, creative work, and the type of sound design that you like when you watch the extra features on the Lord of the Rings, but like how they're like, we got this sound from this animal, and then we did this. That's what he's doing.
Oh, he's phenomenal. Just mind
So
blowing when I hear him talk about his process. It's just,
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it can't keep me up.
So yeah, so that's where we've been. And if I can give like 1 minute of where we're gonna go, we're
Yeah,
gonna look
please.
at Beowulf next, which is so cool. Nuvetta, I know you have a whole bunch of I know you love Beowulf as well.
Yeah.
Um, and from there we're gonna have I scheduled in some breaks. So we're gonna have a little break.
Good.
But then we're also gonna be looking at Farmer Giles of Ham, and Referendum, Father Christmas Letters in December, because of
Oh,
course. And the one that I'm looking forward to the most is in October, we're going to look at Tolkien's Dark Fairy translations.
yeah.
So we're going to look at Sir Gawain and the Green Knight and Sir
I knew
Orpheus.
that was coming. I knew it was
Ooh.
happening. I knew it.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Green Knight is coming.
gotta, you
So
gotta.
we got to do it. We
So
got to throw it in there.
yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I have guest posts along the way, from many people who, some people who are in the Voices of Arda, have agreed to do some stuff. And yeah, so I'm really excited. It's been a really fun community project, and
Where
just
is
really
all this
fun.
happening? If someone wanted to
Oh, great
join
question.
the group, where could they do that?
It's it is all on Substack. So I basically write an introduction article at the beginning of the month, and then do a deep dive later in the month, and lots of discussion in between. And if I have any guest posts, those will be in between those two things. But yeah, all on Substack, and it carries over to what I do on Instagram as well, just naturally because it's where my head is at.
Well,
Everybody,
thank you
make
for
sure you're
all of that
following Kelly the
information.
Middle Page. Truly
Yes.
incredible, very thoughtful content.
Yeah, this is the deep dive stuff. Not run of the mill, everyday Lord of the Rings stuff. Deep dive within the Tolkien verse and Tolkien sphere. So that is where you want to go find it. Kelly is who you want to go to, the middle page. And thank you so much for, just giving us all the great works that you got coming up because I'm excited for them. I can't wait for you to get into the evil fairy stories and Beowulf is one of my favorite things. I love Beowulf, and I always say read Grendel as well. If you read Beowulf, read
I
Grendel.
have on your
Yes,
recommendation, I did.
yes, I love it. I thought it was really well done. So
Thank you
Great.
so much for letting me talk about my stuff, and so good to see you guys. I'm so excited for like your project that you are doing, New Beta, like doing another class. Like that's so cool, and it's
um,
always good to see you, Kelly.
thank you very much.
All
Appreciate it.
right. Thank you,
All right, guys.
everyone. And we'll see you next episode with another Voices of Arda member to interview.
Peace.